In the mid-19th century, a relentless fever swept across the American continent, manifest destiny. It was the belief that a vast, promised land lay waiting, a blank canvas of opportunity, bathed in the golden light of California. For pioneers like the Donner and Reed families, this promise was so bright it blinded them. They were prosperous, respected members of their communities in Illinois, men who staked everything on their vision of a new life, packing up their homes, their children, and their faith into a caravan of covered wagons. Their journey, they believed, would be a glorious chapter in the story of America's expansion. But the vast, unforgiving wilderness holds no respect for human dreams. And on a remote stretch of mountain terrain, that dream didn't just die, it was systematically devoured. This is the story of how ambition, bad advice, and one catastrophic blizzard transformed a group of 87 hopeful pioneers into one of the most infamous and unsettling tragedies in American history. It is the story of how the very fabric of human decency was stripped away, leaving behind a stark, terrifying question. What is the true cost of survival? The journey west, beginning in the spring of 1846 from Independence, Missouri, was always a grueling gamble. A 4 to 6 month race against time. The goal was to reach the Sierra Nevada passes before the first killing snows of autumn. By late July, the Donner and Reed party, now leading their own train, were already slightly behind schedule, having been delayed by rains and swollen rivers. It was here, at Fort Bridger in Wyoming, that they faced their first and most fateful decision. They received a copy of Lansford Hastings' Emigrant's Guide, which boasted of a shortcut, the Hastings Cutoff. This new route promised to shave 300 miles off the trip by crossing the Wasatch Mountains and the Great Salt Lake Desert. James Reed, ever the ambitious and imperious advocate, championed the new path, despite urgent warnings from seasoned trappers and the general consensus that the trail was unproven for heavy wagons. On July 31st, 1846, the party turned south. The shortcut was a lie. Instead of a smooth path, they found a hellish obstacle course. In the Wasatch Range, the pioneers were forced to hack a trail through dense forest and treacherous canyons, slowing their progress to a mere mile or two a day. What was meant to be a swift passage turned into 2 weeks of back-breaking, exhausting labor. Every swing of the axe, every mile of delay, was a bead of sweat on the neck of time. Next came the Great Salt Lake Desert, an 80-mile crossing that Hastings had promised would take 2 days. In reality, it was a blinding, bone-dry hellscape. The desert surface was a deceptive crust of white salt that gave way under the weight of the wagons, dragging the wheels into a sticky, gummy mud. The heat was blistering by day, the nights freezing, and there was no grass or water. Crazed by thirst, the oxen broke free, bolting off into the shimmering mirages, never to return. The party lost nearly a third of their essential livestock and abandoned several wagons, scattering their possessions across the desolate salt flat. The journey across the desert took 6 agonizing days. The shortcut had cost them not 300 miles, but an extra 125 miles, and nearly a month of their precious time. More importantly, it had broken their spirits. The strain led to inevitable breakdown. Along the Humboldt River, the party's disintegration accelerated. Supplies were low and tempers were raw. In a desperate brawl over whipping a team of oxen, the autocratic James Reed stabbed another teamster, John Snyder. Though the act was in self-defense, the weary, fractious pioneers had had enough of Reed's arrogance. They held an impromptu court, and in a crushing display of frontier justice, James Reed was banished. His wife, Margaret, and their children were forced to continue the journey without him. The remaining pioneers, now truly isolated, became increasingly cruel. When an elderly man named Hardcoop could no longer walk, the party refused to spare any resources for him, simply leaving him to die alone by the trailside. A man named Wolfinger was murdered after caching his wagon. The spirit of community, the foundation of a wagon train, had dissolved into a self-serving scramble. By late October, the group staggered toward the final barrier, the formidable Sierra Nevada. On October 28, 1846, the pioneers reached the foot of the pass near Truckee Lake, now Donner Lake. The seasoned frontiersmen knew they were cutting it close, but word from California had suggested they had until mid-November. They decided to rest and regroup. But nature, it seemed, was tired of waiting. A massive, furious storm descended. In the history of the American West, there are few moments more crushing than the sight of that first, unexpected snowfall. Within days, the pass was choked with snowdrifts between 5 and 10 feet deep. They were caught. The door to California had been slammed shut. 60 members of the party were trapped at the lake, while the Donner family, delayed by a broken axle and George Donner's severely infected hand, were marooned 5 miles away at Alder Creek. They cobbled together miserable, leaky cabins. The food quickly dwindled, first to a meagre ration, then to the last of their oxen hides, which they boiled into a repulsive gelatin. The calendar hit mid-December. With their food gone and the cold closing in, desperation demanded a final, terrible roll of the dice. A group of 17, including 5 women and 2 Native American guides, Luis and Salvador, strapped crude snowshoes fashioned from oxbows and hides onto their feet. They called themselves the Forlorn Hope. The story of the Forlorn Hope is where the tale descends from tragedy into true horror. After days of wading through snow as high as 12 feet, without food or shelter, several members collapsed and died. The blizzard that trapped them also erased the last vestige of their humanity. After the first death, the survivors realized their only chance lay in the unthinkable. They stripped the flesh from the bodies of the fallen to eat. It was a choice born of necessity, a horrifying contract signed in frozen blood. One survivor, Patrick Breen, recorded the chilling reality in his diary. Mrs. Murphy said here yesterday that thought she would commence on Milt and eat him. I don't that she has done so yet. It is distressing. Meanwhile, in California, James Reed, having reached safety, led a relentless effort to organise relief. Over the next 4 months, 4 separate relief parties battled the elements to reach the trapped pioneers. The rescuers found scenes of utter devastation. When the first relief reached Truckee Lake in February 1847, they found the survivors emaciated, delirious, and living amidst the cooked remains of their dead companions. They managed to lead 23 people out, mostly women and children, but many had to be left behind, including the Donners. The subsequent relief parties faced increasing difficulty. The conditions worsened, the snow deepened, and the horrors escalated. The third relief found the remains of the Donner family at Alder Creek. Tamsen Donner, the dedicated, educated mother, had refused to leave her dying husband George, only to perish alone in the snow, her body later found untouched. A final, tragic footnote. The last man rescued, Louis Keseberg, was found alive in a cabin, surrounded by human remains, including those of Tamsen Donner, leading to accusations of murder and the final, darkest chapter of the story. Of the 87 people who set out with the Donner Party, only 48 survived. The tragedy remains a defining trauma not just of California history, but of the entire westward expansion. The Donner Party's story is a profound cautionary tale about the reckless arrogance of ambition. It reminds us that the American myth of boundless possibility often came with a hidden, brutal cost. The pioneers were betrayed by bad information, but they were also victims of their own hubris and the rapid, terrifying disintegration of the societal rules they had carried with them. Every time we speak of pushing the boundaries or manifesting destiny, the ghostly echoes of Truckee Lake remain. It's a testament to the fragile line between civilization and savagery, reminding us that when systems collapse, the only thing that stands between humanity and the primal darkness is a promise of decency that can be broken in a single, desperate, frozen moment.